Hello, my name is Gloria Johnson, and I'm with Team EOD Empire of Diamonds. I'm out of Shreveport, Louisiana, and I want to talk to you about meeting etiquette. I want to cover three components: before the meeting, during the meeting, and after the meeting. Before the meeting, you want to make sure, of course, that you're on time. If the meeting is to start at 7 p.m., you need to be there at 6:30 p.m. Why do you want to be there early? Because you want to make sure your room is in order. Everything that the speaker, presenter needs is there for them, and you want to be there set up and ready to go for your guests. One thing you want to make sure that you are in business or business casual attire, because this is a business meeting. You want to be there at the door to greet the guests. You don't want to stand out in the hall looking for the guests, seeing if they're going to show up, because that is showing an act of desperation. Now it's time for the guests to start coming in. They have started to arrive. You can have a table set up. You can have someone that has volunteered. You can have a form to take the names of the guests as well as the names of the members. This will come in handy for future follow-up. As the guests come in, please have someone escort them to their seat. We like for them to have the first 1 or 2 rows in the room. That way we want them to be able to get all the nuggets that's going to be shared. You want to mingle with them. You want to introduce them to the leaders, the presenters that are there. You want to introduce them to your fellow business partners. You want to make them feel right at home and excited that you're there. And one of the things you want to start to institute at the beginning of the meeting as you are inviting the guests in is something that's called mint therapy. That's M-I-N-T therapy. You want to observe this at all times, but of course, especially at the beginning of the meeting and the end of the meeting. What is mint therapy? Mint therapy is always having a mint in your mouth or handy. Why do you want to do this? Because people are excited. They're coming to a business meeting. You have great things in store for them. But what kind of effect do you think it will have on them if as you open your mouth to speak to them, you smell like tuna, garlic, onions? That's a no-no. So if you haven't already considered it, it may sound like a small thing, but practice mint therapy. Then as the guests are mingling and it comes close to time to start the meeting, you want to close the door. If you haven't already, you want to have a seat. You want to be attentive because we are setting an example for our guests. The speaker is now going to begin speaking. As the speaker speaks, it doesn't matter how many times we heard the presentation that they're going to be presenting. We want to act like it's our very first time. We want to clap when he or she says something that's appropriate for us to be clapping. We want to nod. We want to let our guests see that we are all attentive to what the speaker is saying. That way they will become interested if they see that we are interested. But let's not show them that we're not interested just because we've heard something before. This is a business meeting. So as the business meeting goes on, something else we also want to do, we should sit there and we should have a pen and paper in hand to take notes from the speaker. Again, it doesn't matter how many times you've heard what they say. It will encourage the guests to take notes for future reference. This is a good habit to always have of taking notes. So the business meeting has gone on. It's coming to a close, and now the speaker makes his last statement, whatever. The meeting is adjourned, if you will, and the guests get up to leave. Do not just walk out and leave your guests. Do not hurriedly escort them to the door. Mingle with them again. Get their names and address, phone numbers if they are willing to share it. Get information that you can use again as a follow-up for later on, and let them know once again how glad you are that they came. Let them know how important that they are. They may have questions, and you can point them in the right direction. A group or 2 or 3 or however it may be, let them know that you are available for them. And again, as you're talking to them at the end, be sure and have your mints already in your mouth. And in case you're wondering why I say mints and not gums, because as we know, coming up, you don't chew gum in school, you don't chew gum in church, you don't chew gum in meetings. You use mints instead. No one needs to be listening to someone smacking their gum while they're doing their presentation. It is not businesslike and it's not respectable. So we want to be sure and be respectable and businesslike at all times. So before the meeting, make sure you are ready, you are businesslike, your mind is centered on business, focus on business, you are respectful, you are courteous, and you are paying attention to the speaker. You are being courteous and kind and always smiling to your guests. You make them feel at home, and you make the speaker know that you are glad that they are there doing the speaking. Also, be respectful of the leader that may be the one that's presenting the speaker. We want to edify every chance we get. It sends a good signal to our future prospects of how congenial and how we uplift each other. Keep everything always on the upbeat, edifying each other, edifying the room, edifying the speaker, edifying the leaders. This is what we do. So remember the 3 components of how you act before you get to the meeting, before the meeting begins, during the meeting, and after the meeting. These are our points of meeting etiquette. I hope these pointers have been of some use to you, and now we can go on and continue to have a good meeting etiquette. Thank you, and be blessed.